Like I said, everyone will get a chance to testify who wants to testify. I'm going to start with Steve Barrison, Cliff Bruckenstein, Kelly Carroll, and Ed Jaworski. Okay.
My name is Steve Barrison, President of the Bay Improvement Group, and here representing Preserve Our Waterfront aid organizations. I've been involved in the special district for over 32 years. I've given my life to this, besides state and city boards. I worked at the Landmarks Commission as a volunteer for 5 years at the 25th anniversary. What the supporters don't understand is nobody's against Cherry Hill. Nobody. It's a nice store. That's what you're all going to say. They give donations, they give it to the temple, and all the people here have received donations. So it's one big 2 rooms full of conflict of interest, Russian Jew just like you. I've never seen anything like it in my life. All we said was follow the law.
Stay on the point, you're going to lose out.
All right, well, here's the bottom line. It's right or wrong. This procedure's wrong, okay? That's the bottom line. And if you allow this, then you should just forget about the BSA. You really probably don't even need zoning anymore. Just open up, create your audience in a special district designed to last hundreds of years, and then bring all your supporters that love the place and tell them that the government's going to shut you down. The truth is, we are centuries behind the rest of the world in preservation. We only started landmarks 50 years ago. This is the anniversary this year. Special districts were designed to last hundreds of years. And yes, there are many restaurants that want to come into this place. That's what I do for a living as an attorney. I've gotten calls from national chains, local chains, restaurant operators right in Sheepshead Bay. As far as the building, I'd like to answer all of the things that council said, but there's not enough time. That picture was taken of the rear of the building when there was an estate battle for 16 years. It was then fixed up in '95, as Cliff spoke about, to a very successful reopening of Lundy's until 9/11, because the same people invested millions of dollars in personal guarantee, and 9/11 wiped them out. And that's the truth, and that's the bottom line. They're opening more Cherry Hills right now. There's a Cherry Hill opening on Avenue U. They're advertising in the Russian newspaper. I don't read Russian, but all my Russian friends showed me that they're asking for employees. So I'd like to answer more questions. The use does, by the way, the use is not allowed in the special district. That was also wrong by the council. It's a special use district. It's the only one in the city of its type for maritime use.
Okay, all right, Mr. Barrison.
You know, a dozen or so seats inside doesn't qualify as a restaurant. And you know, that competes with all the other groceries in the neighborhood, and they're now hurt.
You mentioned that this, you know, this special permit is unique to this area, granted, passed in the 1970s through the Euler process by the city council. It was something that was felt was needed then, but so listening to you talk, you act like it's the Constitution of the United States, which, by the way, has been amended many times.
No,
so I
it's
mean,
the intent of it. It's the intent.
But I'm just saying,
it's in its infancy.
I just want to be clear. I'm not being antagonistic as much as, you know, things change. I mean, times do change on occasion, and as long as you're consistent with what's good for a neighborhood, I think it is, you know, important that there can be changes. But granted, there is a reason we set up districts, and rules have to be followed. So I agree with you on that point, that, you know, this definitely was a questionable use when it was established, and we're trying to decide whether circumstances have changed somehow that make it, you know, somehow that maybe it isn't as questionable as originally felt. But you know, I mean, you can't treat it like, you know, you break the rules, because there is the fear that was mentioned of, will anything else go in there? I know you say you have restaurants that would go in there. You know, the community board, some of the information we got from the community board is that they were concerned that and would hurt the community.
Well, it's interesting, the community board was against it, and then once the chairperson of the community board and others got donations from Cherry Hill, now they're no, I'm not, it's in the book, it's in the book of Councilman Greenfield.
Steve, you have to stick to the merits of the project without making unsubstantiated allegations. This is not the format. If you want to step on the steps of City Hall afterwards, and you'd like to have a press conference, you're welcome to do that like every other New Yorker. Okay. In our committee, we focus on the merits of the application. It's your prerogative. On their submission. It's your prerogative.
Understood.
So, I mean that is, you know, I just wanted to be clear that is the difference there. Now, this could be, so when Lundy's reopened, it opened as Lundy's by the
1995.
Same related family,
no,
or new people came in and said, I'm going to open this store?
Right, the people
in
that ran the famous restaurant in Central Park. And
they took it over as Lundy's, and it was open from 95 till 2001, 2?
I think there were 2 operators at the end after 9/11. They had to pull out and quickly sell. They were stuck with millions of dollars in personal guarantees, and what happened was, like any restaurant business, some are good, some are bad. You don't do a good job, you go out of business. Everybody knows that.
So it went out of business in 2004, and then there was how many years where it was vacant?
Well, Cherry Hill was, before they opened in 2009, was already battling for several years. You know, they were building construction, they were stopped a few years before they opened. It's a big project, they had to change the awnings, and I'm sure they had to do renovation.
Mr. Greenfield has questions as well. So, again, nobody doesn't like Cherry Hill, but there's a problem with this site. Now, can you describe for me, what's the problem with this business? Is it, you don't like the idea of a supermarket in general, like there, if there's a restaurant, it would be so different and things would be so much wonderful? Or are you more worried about the precedent that if we add a supermarket to the use groups, that somehow the next group's gonna say, well, I can put my business in there, I can put my, whatever I wanna put in there.
Yeah,
explain to me what the big issue is.
Once you allow one, there are many people that have said, why can't I open down the street and other? Number 2, normally you go to the Board of Standards and Appeals, which is the right procedure, not a retroactive text change after you've been opening and operating all this time illegally. And number 3, most importantly, is the whole design of the entire area. You have the complementary use of the shopping districts and to complement the waterfront recreation and entertainment uses. We are suddenly now creating competition where there never was before. Other places in the area looked at Cherry Hill, were going to open there, found out the zoning didn't allow, and went back to the shopping district. So you kind of like, this guy created his own customers. Of course the people go there. Which one of you on the panel have ever walked into a business in New York City and asked what the zoning is, or are they legally operating? Nobody does.
No.
The truth is, nobody's aware of this
weird stuff. Don't worry.
Well, you know what I'm saying. Nobody knows, and we all know, and our councilman knows. So the truth is, it's about how are we going about this?
I'm just trying to get clear here. So the issues are just sort of on principle that if we break the rules here, we might have a problem in the future. That seems to be the biggest. Why give these guys a break? They were breaking the rules. Now we're rewarding them for breaking the rules. Even though we love this, the business isn't a problem. The business itself is not that big a problem except for competition for other good business. But the supermarket itself isn't creating a traffic nightmare or issues as far as everyone hates it, it's smelly, it's dirty. It's not those issues. It's the idea on principle of they broke the rules. Why should we reward them? Why should they be allowed to do it? Why weren't other people allowed to do it? What about the next guy who's going to try to do it? Is that sort of the big issues?
I think a student in Boston on Friday who saw it on the internet and called me up. I was very surprised. She's at a prestigious school. She said, hi, you don't know me, but I read the thing online, and I know Sheepshead Bay, but I don't live in New York. And she said, I don't understand. There's only one Sheepshead Bay. Well, why can't the store go someplace else? What's the big deal? And they have other stores. And I laughed, and I said, well, that's kind of like what it's all about. As far as the precedent as an attorney, I don't know I honestly don't know any of you are attorneys, but the whole system of laws and democracy is based on, you can go to court. Even if you guys approve or disapprove, and a smart attorney can go into court and say, hey.
The person referring to that she saw online, the students saw online.
The Cherry Hill debate, the debate over the issue of.
Like a video of you at a community meeting or something?
Well, there's lots of stuff online.
That type of thing. That's right. Okay, market and restaurant as opposed to just a restaurant.
Well, it's not really a restaurant. I mean, it's got a few seats.
Right, I mean, a supermarket that has a cafe section.
That's what their application
is. It's
a grocery store. It's called what it is.
So that's what's going to change Sheepshead Bay.
Yeah, if they're going to, the right way is to go for a variance. It's the normal way you do something. Right. Correcting improper use.
Right, so you don't like that. But the problem is they were set and what the purpose of this agreement was, and if they want to try to change that, you think they should go a different way and not violate this district that was set up.
That's why we have laws and procedures.
Right. All right, I just wanted to try to be clear. Really, it wasn't coming from an angle or anything. I know it's hard to imagine. But, all right, I don't have any other questions. Thank you very much. We will move on to the next panel. You're all welcome.